The internet is interneting this week, and it's getting unhinged. Hey guys, welcome to a bonus video where I'm going to be reacting to some of the craziest tweets from across the internet that I came across over this last week that damaged my brain because I had to suffer through all of this, so you do as well. Up first, we've got a post from MSNBC contributor and journalist Molly Jong where she wrote simply, "I'm sorry, but this is actually amazing. In response to the terror attack where someone blew up a Cybertruck in front of Trump's hotel in Las Vegas." That's right, a crazy person blew up a vehicle in front of one of Trump's buildings, an attempt clearly at some form of political violence or intimidation, and the individual himself was killed. And this journalist thinks that's amazing. Babe, you're unhinged. You've lost the plot. Like, you're now thinking that acts of terror are good because Trump has broken your brain so much. Seek help. She wasn't the only one. Another guy named Ron Filipkowski tweeted the photo from this attack and said, "A real photo and perfect metaphor heading into 2025. Again, if this is your first response to an act of terror, is to try to use it to dunk on your political opponents, you have lost the plot. You are not the good guy. Up next, we've got a truly crazy viral tweet where this one guy shared a violent language guide and added that he hadn't even considered his language and he'd used these phrases on the left that are supposedly violent far too often. The violent phrases include, "We're going to pull the trigger," "I'll take a stab at it," "Did we jump the gun?" "I'll bite the bullet," "That'll kill two birds with one stone," "What's the deadline?" "We have to pick our battles," "Can you shoot me an email?" "That was overkill," and so on. And supposedly we're supposed to replace these sayings with, "We're going to launch," "I'll take the first pass at it," "Did we start too soon?" "I won't avoid it any longer," "That'll feed two birds with one scone." Oh my God, that one can't be real. You're taking the piss. This is real, guys, by the way. This is a real guide that was created, not a meme, not parody. "What's the due date?" "We have to choose our opportunities." "Can you send me an email?" That was a bit excessive. Girl, this whole guide is a bit excessive in that it's annoying as hell and serves literally no purpose. There is no sense in which these minor verbal tics or phrases harm anybody or contribute to any sort of societal problem. You are nitpicking people for no reason, and this is literally what people hate about woke people. The insufferable nitpicking, the constantly looking to invent controversies and invent problems where they don't exist. This is why people don't like y'all. Do you get it? This next one came from Threads, the Instagram Twitter alternative, where this woman posted something really bizarre and then got a lot of backlash for it. She wrote, "A woman approached me in the produce section while I was shopping and minding my business. 'Can I get you to come do me a favor because you're tall?' the person asked her. I looked at her with a straight face and said, 'No, I'd rather you get someone who works here. You sound like a lovely human being.' She got assistance, and when I tell you she would have wanted me to walk to the other side of the section to gather something from the top shelf for her. Oh, the horror, you poor thing. That is highly offensive to me." And yes, she was. I don't know what that means. She didn't explain. I'm guessing that she means she was a white woman. And this is not the first time I've experienced this. Someone literally just asked you to help reach for something they couldn't reach because you're tall and they're short. Are we supposed to feel bad for you? Do you need a tissue? Do you need a cookie? Like, I'm 6'3". This happens to me with some regularity, and I'm always happy to do it. It's often, an old woman, but even if it's not, even if it's a short man, I would never think to be like, "Oh no, go get an employee. I'm not helping you." Like, I'm not that special that I can't take 30 seconds out of my day to help a stranger. And everything about this comes off as totally out of touch and unkind and really bizarre. Like, this is some sort of victim event for you, babe. Put down the crack pipe. Now, of course, this post got tons of backlash, but this person seemed to only double down on it. In a follow-up, she wrote, well, that was eventful. I see the provocative posts that get the people going are the ones that get the most engagement. I enjoyed the dialogue, and any opportunity for me to talk shit is a treat. In conclusion, no is a powerful word and a complete sentence. There are people who don't want you to exercise your right to choose and want to police your feelings behind your personal experiences. Don't let them. She really just tried to repaint telling an old lady, no, I'm not going to help you, and being a total jerk for no reason and then bragging about it on the internet as some sort of heroic struggle or like moment. Like that was a moment for her. I exercised my right to say no and I stood on business. No, lady, you were just rude. You didn't achieve anything. You didn't stand up for principle. You just went out of your way to be unkind to a stranger. And then you posted about it on the internet and you thought you were going to get sympathy and people feeling bad for you. I don't know how you thought that. You must be kind of delusional, but you thought that and then it didn't go that way because even on Threads, which is like a super liberal, super woke platform, people still have an ounce of common sense and decency, I guess. And she got mostly negative feedback. Okay, this next post comes from a truly deranged trans activist who writes, Elon Musk is a danger to democracy globally. The sooner countries realize this and go after him, the better. Ban Tesla, Twitter, and Starlink from their countries. Musk thinks he's a global emperor who can dictate to countries around the world. We need to stop him. The irony on this post. There are so many levels of irony. This person is complaining that Elon Musk wants to dictate to other countries, and in the same post, dictating to other countries all these policies that they should do. And you're framing yourself as some sort of defender or champion of democracy. How Elon is a threat to democracy, I'm not sure. Just because he supports candidates you don't like, that's participating in democracy. It's not a threat necessarily, but you want governments to ban a communications platform because they dislike the views of its owner. That's actually kind of authoritarian. That's censorship. That's anti-democracy, right? Because democracy relies on open debate, free speech, free marketplace of ideas, and you want governments to censor platforms that millions of people use to speak and target people based on their political views for retaliation, and yet Elon Musk is the dangerous fascist threat to democracy. No, babe, it is you. Look in the mirror. The next post comes from MSNBC host Joy Reid, who, per usual, is posting delusional stuff on the internet. She writes, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa, and just plain Happy Holidays. Oh, that's a sweet message. Just kidding. It's gonna get unhinged. Just plain Happy Holidays to, only to, everyone who opposes fascism, Nazism, apartheid, colonialism, and imperialism around the world. To everyone else, have whatever kind of week works for you. I'm sorry, but this isn't normal. It's not normal to be unable to even wish people happy holidays without inserting extreme political ideology and rhetoric into it. Like, you need to touch grass. You need to maybe just go outside and talk to people, because you should be able to wish people a happy holiday without going off on your woke Mad Libs of all the different things you've convinced yourself are happening, which I don't really know how much they are, but it's just not normal to not be able to wish people a happy holiday without going political and divisive. Another tweet went viral where somebody was complaining about Uber. There was a screen cap that showed Uber prices being really high New Year's Eve night. So it shows an Uber X was as high as $91, and then a Premier was $117. Somebody responded to this and said, not capping prices on the most popular night of the year for folks to drink and drive is actually dangerously irresponsible on Uber's end. If you don't understand economics, please don't speak on economic issues on the internet. If Uber capped their prices, or if the government capped Uber's prices, then they wouldn't have enough drivers. They have to charge higher prices during surge times like New Year's Eve, because how else are you going to get drivers to give up their New Year's Eve to come out and drive people? And so in reality, this person thinks they're helping and thinks they did their big one. In reality, if they got their way and Uber capped their prices at, say, like just a little bit over their normal rates, the truth is you would have had a shortage of Ubers and more people would have driven drunk because they couldn't get an Uber, and more people would have died. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't think 5 steps ahead, 5 seconds ahead, and people just pop off like this about these kinds of things with such confidence. It will never cease to amaze me. This next tweet is from somebody whose name on Twitter is Canadian Patriot, and they wrote, "If I was starting a country from scratch, I'd rather have 10,000 white alcoholics and crackheads than 10,000 high-end Indians and Africans." Just say you're racist and go. I mean, this person just said they're starting a country from scratch. That's the hypothetical. They are only going to have 10,000 people. And the options are high-end Indian and Africans. So the best of the best and the brightest from countries in Africa or India. The kind of people that I went to college with. I had a couple friends from India who came here to study computer science, and they came from very well-off families in India, and they're kind of elite human capital. No, he'd rather have 10,000 white crackheads and alcoholics than 10,000 high-quality people of different races. Like, there's no reason for that other than you just being racist that I can think of. Your white country wouldn't have anything going for it. It would be made up of alcoholics and drug users. That's a terrible recipe for starting a nation. Meanwhile, the other one would have industrious, smart, hardworking people who just are of a different skin tone and race and ethnicity. Like, that is ridiculous that you would post that on the internet with your whole chest, thinking you did your big one and not realize how evil you actually sound and just how stupid. But that's something of a theme for Twitter posts or posts on Threads or Blue Sky that go viral. They all tend to come from people without too many brain cells to spare. But what did you think? Which one of these posts do you find to be the most absurd, the most ridiculous? Let me know in the comments. That last one might just take the cake for me, but I do want to hear what you guys think, what you think is the worst one. And if you enjoyed this, is this the kind of content you'd like to see me do more regularly? Do hit that like button before you go. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet, and we'll talk again soon.